Well, good evening, everyone. So wonderful to see you here. And first of all, thank you for giving up your evening and a warm welcome. I'd like to introduce our speakers for the evening, Alaina Schwartz. We also have Marcia Lewinson and Tina Collura. So you may have seen on the flyer that there was due to be a fourth speaker, and I have to extend her apologies because due to ill health, she had to pull out at the last minute. So Susie Mackie, our thoughts are with you and wishing and praying for a speedy recovery for you. And Susie sent her greetings to the other speakers as well. So we're thinking of you. Hope you'll be able to watch the replay. So very quickly, I'm Carol Edmondson, your host on the Collura UK platform for Women Empowerment and Men Are From Mars, which is a registered not-for-profit community organisation. And I'll just skip to the projects which are education, personal and professional growth, health and well-being, financial education, and entrepreneurship. CEO and founder is Ritu Sharma, who is here. Give us a wave, Ritu. And we do have social media presence, which includes a WhatsApp group, Facebook page, and the Collura UK website, of course, where all the recordings are posted. So feel free to go in and have a look at past events and also this one when uploaded to the website. Now, before I kick off introducing our first speaker, can I ask you all to mute your mics? And that's wonderful. So introduction, our first speaker today is Alaina Schwartz, who is an international speaker, best-selling author, and elite performance coach who is passionate about helping high achievers to multiply their income and impact while creating time freedom. After many years of experience on the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, she is intimately familiar with sacrificing health, relationships, and freedom to increase profitability and productivity. She loves to help people make shifts at the DNA level to align with their purpose so they can move out of stress and into sustainable success, because no one needs to sacrifice to have it all. Alaina, over to you.
Thank you so much, Carol. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ritu, as well. So only 7% of businesses achieve 7 figures a year, and that number is even smaller for women, with only 2% achieving 7 figures. So raise your hand if you would like to 2 to 3x your income while working 20 to 30 hours a week less. Yes. Now keep your hands raised if you would like to do that starting right now. Great, because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to show you 3 ways to significantly increase your income while radically reducing your work week so that you can stop hustling, stop sacrificing your relationships and your health for the pursuit of profits, and instead get into flow and have fun in your business again. And even if you don't have your own business, in your work. And because you are women who know and appreciate that maximizing your time and money is vital to create a sustainable lifestyle, I'm going to share with you an easy way for you to take what you learned today to the next level so you can immediately shift and make shift happen in your business and in your lives. So let me just tell you a little bit about who I am in my own story. I started out as a lawyer in New York City in the music industry for 18 years, and my career culminated as me being the executive vice president of the largest independent music company in the world at the time. And when I got to that job, because before then I had been in private practice, I honestly was never more miserable. By all intents and purposes, from the outside, it appeared I had it all. I had a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan. I had a happy marriage. I mean, I went to exotic locations for vacation multiple times a year. It looked like I had it all, and yet I was never more miserable. And I started to ask myself, is this really all there is? Is this it? I just kept thinking when I got more successful, I would finally be happy. And I had to cop to the fact that being a lawyer was my parents' agenda for me, and I had put my ladder up against the wrong wall. And when I walked away from it to discover what my purpose really was in life, I ended up hitting what I will call a dark night of the soul. I watched all the structures of my life fall apart. And in the process of trying to put my life back together, having gone from a very sweet nest egg to massive amounts of debt, watching my marriage go up in flames, having difficulty with my son, moving out of New York City up to upstate New York, where I knew no one, and losing a lot of friends in the process, I learned a lot of tools and techniques that helped me rewire my brain, that helped me rewire my thinking and understand the nature of reality and my purpose in a deeper way. And I understood my purpose is to help entrepreneurs really go from where they were to where they really wanted to be in their dreams, working significantly less, because I had worked 60 to 80-hour weeks on the regular basis during my life as a lawyer, and it was no longer sustainable. So I created 6 figures in 7 months in my first year of coaching, but then I proceeded, habits follow us, patterns follow us, and I proceeded then to trash it again and go into massive amounts of debt yet again. And I realized I had this pattern of being able to create a lot of money, but not being able to hold on to it and lose it. And it caused so much shame and guilt, because here I am helping people, like the imposter syndrome was so real. I'm helping people earn more money and I can't do it myself. And my clients are getting fabulous results, but I'm not able to do it myself. And so I went back to the very thing that I understood how to do to get myself out of the hole I was in, which is work harder, hustle more, work harder. And I realized there were 2 things that made me realize I had to get my head wrapped around this or understand how to collapse time. The first thing was that I was sitting on my couch one day in the evening with my laptop, of course, on my lap, working yet again. And my then 7-year-old son was sitting next to me, and in his favorite camo pants with these gorgeous, huge blue eyes, he looked up at me and said, "Mommy, you're working all the time." And I went, oh, like that just crushed me. And I was also talking to a potential client who was a mega millionaire, and his issue was he'd had no time in his life. He was working all the time. And I thought, how can I help this guy collapse time when I can't even do it for myself? And here is my son telling me I'm working all the time, which is why I started a lifestyle business in the first place, so I could spend time with my son as a single mom. And here I was not living that lifestyle at all. So I was determined to learn how to collapse time. And I realized there are 3 elements to really learning how to collapse time and make more money. The first one is really understanding how to get clarity on your vision. I can't tell you how many people I talk to, and I ask them, what is it they want? And they really don't know. They tell me what they want from what they don't want. I don't want to keep experiencing this. I don't want to have this in my life anymore. I don't want to keep struggling, rather than what do you actually want? What is your vision? Right? What is your vision for your life? What is your vision for your work in the world? What is actually your purpose that you're here to be doing? Because we have all been encoded with a purpose. When you look at all of nature, except nature that's been tampered with by humans, when you look at nature, nature has been encoded with the way to make it successful. We have also been encoded with our purpose and the way to make that purpose successful. And so what gets in the way of us living with ease the way nature does, again, when it's not tampered by humans, and that is the subconscious limiting beliefs, blocks, and self-sabotage patterns. And so that brings me to number 2, which is learn how to tune into your intuition. Now, I bet if I were to ask all of you, have you ever raise your hand if you've ever had a 3 a.m. genius moment or gotten a download in the shower, on a walk, or some other kind of download, you'd all raise your hands, right? Everyone has had it. Now, when you follow that intuitive guidance, it allows for magic to happen. But when you don't follow it, it's a total crap show. And why don't people follow it? Again, because of the subconscious limiting beliefs, blocks, and self-sabotaging patterns. And we all have the capacity. Our intuition comes from, I'm going to call it your higher self, your true self, your soul, your inner being, your still small voice, whatever you want to call this energy that is this infinite part of us that is absolutely all-knowing. Right? So we have this part of us that already knows how to get us from point A to point B with no resistance, with ease and grace. And we struggle instead of following that guidance. And we have the ability to tap into that on demand. And when we follow that guidance and learn how to tap into it on demand, because I can't tell you how many people have said, oh yeah, I hear the voice, but I don't follow it. Well, why aren't you following it? It's because, oh, I hear, oh, that's really stupid. That'll never happen. That's not going to work. Why would I do that? Right? Those limiting beliefs that are coming up, your ego mind that's coming up in the moment, trying to take you, well, trying to keep you in safety, right? Because when we do the same thing over and over again, even if it honestly, we don't like it, it sucks, it might be horrible in our lives, at least your ego mind and your subconscious mind knows, I'm going to survive if I keep this pattern up. I'm going to continue to be able to do this, and I know I'm going to survive. But when you step out of your comfort zone, and it feels like total uncertainty, which feels like uncertain death to your subconscious mind, so it will try to sabotage you and bring you right back into your comfort zone over and over and over again. And that's why people can feel like they're getting momentum in some part of their life or their business, and then all of a sudden, maybe it's, for example, the exact amount of money that you just made that you busted through. All of a sudden you have a car repair, and all of a sudden it's that exact amount of money, or you need a new washing machine or something like that. Or maybe you notice you get into a fight with your spouse or significant other just as it starts to happen, or some chaos starts to ensue, or you get sick just as you're starting to break out. Those are a variety of different ways in which we self-sabotage ourselves to bring us back into our comfort zone as a result. Now, when you learn to tap into your intuition on demand, it becomes the GPS to guide your life. It creates a life of ease and grace and flow. You get to move out of hustle, out of the work that you're doing and hustling all the time to get stuff done, into absolute flow. And it just feels absolutely amazing to be able to collapse time, work less, and yet make significantly more, or just get more done in less time. Right? And that's what we are able to do when we tune into our intuition on demand. And so I said, okay, what's stopping us from tuning into our intuition on demand? It's clearing the subconscious blocks, self-limiting beliefs, and self-sabotaging patterns. So when you actually learn how to tune into your intuition on demand, you can actually use that energy to go into your own subconscious mind and clear those blocks. Because what are all of those blocks in the first place? They're untruths we came to believe about ourselves or life when we were little. Either they've been intergenerationally passed down for us. So maybe you have some forms of scarcity beliefs around having to work hard or how hard it is to make money that have been passed down to you from your ancestors. Like my ancestors struggled. They came to this country in times of war. They went through the Depression. They absolutely struggled, and they had scarcity mentality. And I heard my parents fighting when I was little about how hard it was, and I discovered, which wasn't true, but the story, the meaning I made out of it was that money ruins relationships and is really hard to make. And so when I came to making a lot of money, of course I would self-sabotage it because I didn't want to ruin my relationships in the process. And if money ruins relationships, then I was having this internal values conflict about what it meant to make a lot of money or have money, and then what it means to actually keep it and the consequences of being able to keep it. So I would self-sabotage myself every time. And I see this over and over and over again with my clients, where there's intergenerational things that they have that actually is embedded in their DNA that have been passed down from generation to generation. Now there's also the limiting beliefs that we acquired before we were 7 years old. So before 7 years old, we're basically just a subconscious mind. Our conscious mind has not been fully developed yet. And the subconscious mind does not have any ability to reject. It accepts everything it's told. So maybe you go to your mom with this drawing that you have and you're so super psyched and you're like 4 or 5 years old, and she's moving a pot of pasta from the stove, this big pot of boiling water, into the sink, and she yells at you to get out of the way. Now you think all of a sudden what's important to you isn't important, right? Or maybe you're playing for the UK football, for America, it's soccer, right? So maybe you're playing football or soccer and you made one goal, but you missed another goal, and you get off the field and your dad says, nice goal, but why'd you miss that other one? You had this perfect opportunity. And now all of a sudden you believe nothing you do is good enough. And these stories happen over and over and over again. and program us that we're not worthy, that we're not deserving, that we're really frauds, that what's valuable to us isn't actually valuable. And we start learning how to conform who we are to get love and approval from our parents, from our loved ones, from our teachers, and even from our preachers. Right? And so as a result, we conform who we are and we try to fit ourselves in this nice, neat box so that we can get our needs met and we can get love and approval. And all of a sudden now we've created all of these untruths about ourselves and life in our subconscious mind. And they then create these self-sabotage patterns, that keep us from our greatness, because our greatness comes from uncertainty. Our greatness is born out of growth and expansion. It doesn't come from sameness. It comes from owning our uniqueness. And if we've learned that owning our uniqueness when we were little meant we were rejected, meant we were disapproved of, then we're going to be terrified of putting our uniqueness out there and stepping out into our greatness, into our greatest selves. So by learning to tune into your intuition, you can actually clear these patterns to allow yourself to step into your greatness, to step into that purpose and that vision, and have the life you've always dreamed of in every area of your life, all at the same time, without any self-sacrifice, So by now, you know that hustling more is not going to create greater profits in your business. And the way to create more money freedom is to change who you're being. Rewiring your thinking and habits to success thinking and habits is going to create the most profits and lifestyle freedom. And because you know that getting in flow, as I've spoken about, and creating ease and grace in your life starts with clearing your blocks, your self-sabotaging patterns, and your subconscious limiting beliefs, I'm going to make it easy for you now to take action and get the results you want. And my invitation to you is to grab my free mini course. I have created a free mini course called 5 Ways to Shave 20 to 30 Hours Off of Your Work Week While Making More Money. And this will work for you even if you have a career and you don't have your own business. And what I will tell you, whoever's had, if you can please mute yourself, thank you. And what I will tell you is that I literally have been paid upwards of 50 grand, 50,000 American US dollars to be able to teach my clients these tools. And I've condensed them for you to be able to have it. And my team has told me to take out some stuff because I've literally given you everything that I really do in a condensed version. So I encourage you to grab that because it will give you all you need to do to collapse time while accelerating your profits. And in that mini course, I also give you a way to jump on a Zoom call with me for 30 minutes so that you'll know exactly what you need to do, exactly what you need to shift, what's holding you back, so you can move forward with ease. And then we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. And if not, I will still give you more value than you've probably had in a really long time, so that you can up-level your income, your leadership, and your impact when you learn how to connect to your intuition on demand and start using it as the GPS to guide you straight to your business success. Now, as an aware business owner, you know that chasing another shiny object strategy is not going to be the answer to your struggle, work harder business to get you to a freedom business with ease. I urge you to start clearing the limiting blocks and beliefs in your subconscious mind and start learning how to tap into your intuition on demand so that you can reclaim your life and start earning more right away. Thank you. And I'm Alaina Schwartz.
You muted, Carol. You're on mute, hon. Sorry.
There we are. I couldn't get Zoom back. Oh, thank you, Alaina. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. I know our speakers are having to motor, so I'm going to move swiftly on to Marcia. And who is Marcia Lewinson? Well, Marcia Lewinson, she's the CEO of WAITS, which is Women Action in Today's Society.
Acting in Today's Society.
Women acting in today's society. Thank you, Marcia. Marcia joined the charity in 1983 as a volunteer and has led the charity for the last 18 years, designing domestic abuse projects, resettlement projects for female offenders, and refuge for women fleeing domestic abuse that have supported 10,000 women to end cycle of abuse. An experienced trainer, Marcia has written programs to support women's development and involvement in the workplace, in boardrooms and in communities. She has developed innovative empowerment programs that have enabled women to develop their leadership skills, adapting these skills to work for them in everyday life and in the workplace. In 2016, Marcia founded Blue Sky Executive Coaching and Mentoring, where she uses her experience of leadership and business development to support the development of leaders of SMEs, charities, and CICs, community interest companies. So, without further ado, I hand over to you. I'm a poet and didn't even know it.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Ritu and Carol, for that wonderful introduction. I think I need to cut my presentation. I gave you too much information. However, it's all good. Can you see the screen okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So this evening, I'm going to share some of my journey and hopefully inspire you to think about how you can get involved in your community and affect change as an individual, sharing my journey of how I've been able to do that so far. So my presentation this evening is called I Wear Many Hats. And I'm just hearing the last speaker's story, I know you wear many hats like myself, or did do, and many of us on screen here wear many hats. So you really appreciate when I say that feeling, I wear many hats. So as Carol said, I'm currently the CEO of Women Acting in Today's Society, a charity that was formed way back in 1993 with the aspiration of empowering ourselves as women and other women to make change. And when I joined the charity, it was very much in its infancy, where we were just going around and talking to women at the school gates, just finding out what were the issues that were affecting them in their community. And then as a volunteer, helping those women to develop community-based groups so that they could affect change. Very much using the American community organizing model, which is still very new in Britain and hasn't really taken off. But using that model as a volunteer, I was able to help single parents set up groups that challenged some of the benefit system. And with the pictures that you can see there, the below picture is with a group of clients meeting MPs. So my passion is really about how I can affect change, but not through me standing at the doors of number 10 or meeting officials. It's about helping others to have a voice. And through the charity, that's what we aim to do by supporting women to have a voice. Another hat that I wear is as an executive coach. The charity sector is very precarious, and it was at a time when we felt that WAITS wouldn't continue because of the lack of funding available. I retrained as a coach, looking at how I could utilize the skills that I use every day to run the charity as a business to help other business people and other charity leaders. And at the bottom there, there's a picture of a group of us. This is just showing where we were celebrating in September that milestone of supporting 10,000 women. and we walked through Birmingham on a mile stretch and placing silver ribbons along trees, and just to make that monument, which was really exciting. So a little bit about me. So the picture, the black and white picture, can you tell which one's me? I've seen somebody on here and her name's Marva, and that's my sister's name. So I'm wondering if she's on here. So please forgive me, sis, for this picture.
My sister.
Oh, it's your sister, thank goodness. She wouldn't forgive me. But anyhow, this is a picture of our family. And my parents came to England just during the Windrush era and moved to a residential area, part of Birmingham, where we were the only Black family. I was the only Black girl in my school of 2000 secondary school. And it was growing up in that backdrop of in the 70s, where there was a lot of racism, where my dad, who's there holding my brother, really instilled in us a sense of justice. You know, he gave us pride in ourselves. And we used to come home from school and said, you know, somebody was mean to us, was calling us names. He taught us how to rise above that. And I think that's where those early formative years that I picked up the passion to change, you know, that sense of it's not fair, but always thinking about how I could make change. So that's my parents. And the top picture there are my two sons. I've been fortunate and blessed to have two young men. My oldest son now is in his 40s and the younger one is in his 30s. And they've between them given me 10 grandchildren and also a great grandchild. And that's the picture of most of the grandchildren down there. So one of my hats, Waits, working there as a charity. As I said, it was established in 1993. And we aim to support women who go through domestic abuse, whether they're currently going through it or escaping from it. And we provide key services to women. We have a community-based service where our support workers go out and meet women in the community, help them to do safety plans, and through their support plans, plan goals to help them out of crisis and think about their future goals. We help female offenders who are affected by domestic abuse. So these women whose partners are getting them into crime, whether it's shoplifting or drugs, that's helping to keep them into their domestic abuse situation. We support them when they come out of prison or if they're living in the community. And we also have refuges for women. We currently have 3. So in that picture, we talked about 2, but we currently have 3 refuges where women who are in need of safe and confidential accommodation can come and rebuild their lives. And the service that we run is holistic, because whilst you need the practical support to get away, you also need the therapeutic support. And I really liked what the speaker was saying before about the life-limiting beliefs. Sometimes that can get us into toxic relationships, but they can also keep us there, and the added trauma as well. So providing counselling and coaching helps to deal with the therapeutic side of the women's experiences, and workshops as well that range from yoga to interview techniques, anything around employability, and providing the women with work experience helps them to see their future. So whilst they're in crisis, they're actually working towards their future. So I thought I'd share with you the reason why I do what I do and why I get out of bed. And that is to talk a little bit about domestic abuse. Lots of people think domestic abuse is a physical interaction, but it's actually a type of controlling and bullying and threatening and violent behaviour within 2 people in a relationship or families as well. A lot of the women we support come from Black and minority ethnic communities. And for them, domestic abuse isn't just with their partner. It could be a forced marriage situation or a relation where sometimes we have the mothers or the sons or the brothers causing the abuse within the family. And in England, a very stark fact is that 1 woman in 4 will experience domestic abuse. So although the charity started way back in 1993, looking to eliminate a lot of these things, these experiences still continue. So I just wanted to pause for a second and ask with you to take part in a little exercise for me. So I was thinking about whilst I was putting this presentation together, how has things changed for women? So if you don't mind closing your eyes and just picture what life was like in the 1960s. You see that black and white picture that we placed there? You can think about the fashion that was around at the time. What sort of household equipment was there? Back in the day, they created a lot of the washing machines and things to make things easier for women in the household. So what was there back in the time? And what was the caring and work responsibilities for women like? Just hold that thought for a minute. Okay, that was slightly less than a minute, but because of time. Okay, it's fast forward, it's 2023. Think what has changed. If you'd like to put some thoughts in the chat, when we come to the next slide, I'll probably ask Carol to let's share what we thought. So what has changed since that time? In 1975, we had the Equal Pay Act. However, in 2023, women still get this less pay compared to their male counterparts. You may have heard of the gender pay gap, and there's huge campaigns online around campaigning around that. And women have to develop many habits to keep themselves safe that men don't think about. For those of us in the UK, and I don't know if you've ever seen any of the coverage over here, we've had some really terrible cases where policemen who are in trusted positions have abused women. I was trying to think of a softer and gentler word, but you know, the fact is that they've abused women. And women have to think about how we dress, just to go out on an evening or during the day. So, you know, we still have to think about those things. Back in the 60s, you'd walk down the road and you had wolf whistles from the builders. Do you remember those days? They don't wolf whistle anymore, but we still have to create habits to keep ourselves safe. And childcare, you know, childcare is so expensive. I remember when I had my youngest son, I literally was going to work just to pay the childcare bill. And it's 104 years in England since the women have had the vote. Just 100 years, still a shocking statistics. So for me, whilst we've had a lot of progress, And I think the younger generation are the ones who are really going to bring about effective change. There is still a long way to go. So we can all make change. That's a very shocking and stark bit of information that I've just shared with you. But I wanted to share with you just before I end that we can all make change. I make change daily, helping the staff to support the women that I work with. And strategically, I've found myself, because I'm heading up the charity, and in an age where institutions are looking to engage and improve their services, being given the opportunity to share this women's journeys and their stories and their experiences at a strategic level. So one of the other hats I wear is I sit on Birmingham Safeguarding Adults Board, and I also sit on West Midlands Police Advisory Group around domestic abuse. But holding these positions is good. However, we as women have to try not to be the gatekeepers. We have to try and see how we can open the doors for others. And the slide that I've got in front of you is just sharing some of the ways that I've done that. So in 2007, I was fortunate to go to Zimbabwe with the charity to share best practice of how we influence governments at a strategic level. And what really struck me about the individual women there who came from across the country and faced challenges of meeting lions on their walk to their nearest point where they could get a tractor to get to the town to be able to attend the conference. And it really struck me that these women went through those hardships and they didn't have anything, just to be able to come together as women and share and learn from each other. The other picture is of John Burker, who was the former leader of the House of Parliament. And he came on a visit to Wales, and I seized the opportunity to put together a mini conference with women who aspired to become MPs and councillors so that they could talk to him about the barriers. And one of the interesting points that I put to him that day was, our parliament is over 400 years old and runs on systems that have been set during that time. If you're a woman and you want to enter into politics, a lot of the debates, or some of the debates, happen during the early hours of the morning. How can women do that when they have their caring responsibilities? So talking to them and raising those issues, I think, is really important. And tomorrow, with Birmingham City University, I'm bringing a group of survivors to meet with the police, our City Council and our Crown Prosecution Service to discuss and understand the challenges of domestic abuse within the justice system. Even today, we have women who report the crime and have no response from the police, or the response is very poor, prosecution is very low, and we want to break some of those barriers so the women can feel more safe. So making change happens one step at a time. And that song by Sam Cooke really resonates with me about the journey of womanhood. It's been a long time coming, that equality, but I know change is going to come. So I just want to leave you with these 3 thoughts. And if you are doing any of these things, please share, because it'd be good to see. And in fact, when you share, depending where you are, we might be able to join you. So the thought I want to leave you with is, how do you affect change in your life? Thinking about the last speaker, your home, and your community. Thank you so much for listening this evening. On the screen there is the details of the charity. We're always looking for people that can volunteer and support us in our efforts. And if you are interested in finding out more, please visit our website. And if you would like to find out more about my executive coaching, there's a telephone number below, and I'm happy to leave that in the chat. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh my goodness, Marcia. Whoa. And some thought-provoking questions too. It's awesome. Thank you. And
Thank you.
Marcia's going to be a speaker on our Women's Day event on the 4th of March, which is going to be local. Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you.
Okay. As I mentioned, we are moving swiftly. So our next speaker and our final speaker for this evening is actually Tina Collura. Tina is the founder of the See Yourself Grow coaching and consulting firm. As a business growth consultant, an award-winning productivity coach, motivational speaker, chief operating officer for small businesses, and part of the top 30 women entrepreneurs to take inspiration from in 2022 by the Entrepreneur's Herald. This is their quote: Tina helps business owners develop their business growth strategy plans by using a personalized growth model that she creates with her clients. Love to hear more. Over to you, Tina.
Hi, everyone. So excited to do is I'm going to be putting my contact information in the chat for you in case I do forget. And in case you're wondering how I'm showing up in my PowerPoint presentation, I can actually share that with you as well. So when you go to share your screen, right at the top, there's a basic and advanced option. So if you click on advanced option and then you go and open your PowerPoint, you're able to select your PowerPoint and then hit project. So that's tip number one. So I am here to say congratulations. Welcome to Flight 2023. You made it. How many of us would love to be on this flight right now? I know I would, to a warm, hot place. But I just want to say congratulations for taking the time to dedicate to yourself. And as we prepare for takeoff, I want you to ensure that your altitude or your attitude is in the upright position. There's no blaming, complaining, or judging on this flight, and there is no baggage allowed on this flight. So if you lose attitude and you need a lift in attitude, please take a deep breath and oxygen will be restored to the area of your body that needs it the most. My name is Tina Collura and I will be your flight attendant on this journey. So we talked about some limiting beliefs and why do we struggle with believing in ourselves? As women, we should really be giving ourselves more credit than we really deserve. I was raised by a single mom, and my two grandmas are people that I love. They were my best friends, and they were both strong characters, and they broke down so many different barriers. My grandmother, the first time I met her in Italy, I was 8 years old, and she sat me on my lap, and she's like, never get married. She's like, men are horrible. And so that stuck with me from 8 years old. But, you know, on average, we make approximately 35,000 decisions a day. So yes, it's no wonder that we're going to be questioning ourselves or wondering if we're on the right path or, you know, doing the right things or with the right people. It's called being human. So congratulations for being human. And interacting with humans is difficult. Raising little humans is difficult. So we really need just to start giving ourselves more credit, and we need to acknowledge when we're not at our best, because in the end, we are one. We are one person. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal life. So I am a wife, I am a mom, and I try to be a boss at everything that I do. Sometimes it doesn't work. Those two little people in the middle, they like being the boss too. But I am happily unmarried. So I never got married. I listened to my grandma, and they're happily unmarried for 19 years. We were actually planning to get married August 2020, but then the pandemic happened. So now we're just waiting for the right. I just told him, why don't we just wait till our 20th anniversary, which is next year. So that's what we're going to do. But I got to tell you, being a mom is so rewarding, but it can be challenging at the same time. But I wouldn't change it for the world. And my two little girls, I've given them fierce names. One is Khaleesi. So if any Game of Thrones people out there, so she is the mother of dragons and breaker of chains. And my little one is Catalea. And Catalea is the Colombian orchid. And I got that from a movie, Colombiana. The actress was Zoe Saldana, and I watched it in 2011. And she was an assassin who was avenging her parents' death. So she was a strong person that I thought I should name my daughter after as well. So just to tell you a little bit about me.
You're frozen,
Trip.
Tina.
And oh, sorry. Is everything okay?
Yeah, you're back now. You
Oh,
froze
so
for a
sorry.
little while.
Oh, goodness, love technology when it works. Okay, so my tagline is I will help you get out of your own way and into results in less than 90 days. So I love taking people's ideas and breaking them down into smaller, more manageable tasks so that they could start seeing the results they know they deserve. During the pandemic, after 30 days, I got my first 3 clients. Then after 90 days, I had 13 clients. And then my husband was like, okay, slow down. And I'm like, I can't. This is what success looks like. So I need your help. So every Sunday we would sit down. I'd map out what I had going on. I'd ask him, can you help me with the kids? He's like, no, go to your mother's. So I'd pack up the kids, pack up the dogs, and go to mom's. So love my mom. She is one of my best friends, but it takes a village. And Marcia, like you would know that, right? So I wasn't always a boss at everything that I did. I'll never forget. Day, January 31st, and I started falling, just crying, breaking down. He was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. And he was terrified to ask me how I was doing every day after that. But I just looked at him and I said, this is not the life I want to be living. I was commuting 4 hours a day pre-pandemic. I was dropping my girls off at daycare at 6:30 in the morning, coming home exhausted, on autopilot, not being able to do homework or make lunches or even communicate with my husband. And so that's when I decided. I went home. I did an exercise called a visualization called the perfect day and started visualizing what I wanted my perfect day to look like. And it was working from home, spending more time with my kids, doing what I love, having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with my husband. And then the pandemic happened. And my husband looked at me and he's like, you and your law of attraction, you did this. I said, minus the pandemic? Yes. I go, this is exactly what I wanted. So now I do a talk about capitalizing on the time we've been given, because those 4 hours that I was not commuting, I was busy building my business. So 2 hours in the morning, I would wake up, curate content, do a video, post it, and then go to work, virtual work. In the evening, I would use the 2 hours after dinner and network and meet people and do training and put together my framework. And that's how I built my business. Now, as a little girl, I experienced tragedy at 8 months old. My father was in a tragic car accident. So I was born in January, he died in September. And all my life, all I've been doing is knocking on people's doors, asking them to tell me about my father, because my immediate family couldn't talk about it. My mom, my brothers, they were just so shut down. And because they were shut down, I couldn't talk to them. So anytime there was an outburst, I would take in their emotions. I would hold everyone's emotions. And I had my first nervous breakdown when I was 16 years old. My psychiatrist, my first psychiatrist, he told my mom I needed to get away from my family. So I found an exchange program where I went to Italy for 3 months, and I earned my credits that way. But that was the greatest time of my life. Why? Because I was alone and I got to journal to myself. I got to answer my own questions. And now what I do on a weekly basis, I go to the cemetery and I sit in front of my father's grave and I journal to him. And I have over 200 pages. And I'm going to be writing a book called Letters to My Father. So although we all face our trials and tribulations, it's what we do next that matters the most. And as a woman and as a force to be reckoned with, we all need to look inward every now and then. So this is one of my self-assessment tools that I do. I used to do it on a quarterly basis. Now I do it on a monthly basis, where I just ask myself, how are you doing mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? And I grade myself on a scale of 1 to 10. The areas that I score the lowest on, those are the areas I start putting goals towards. If you want to receive any of these slides or this mini presentation, please feel free to put your email in the chat, or maybe Carol or Ritu, I can get the emails from you, but I'd be happy to share. And then I also took that personal slide and I created one for business. So I use this with my business clients. I ask them to rate themselves. And then from there, I build out what I call a work breakdown structure. And then we start breaking things down to smaller, more manageable tasks. But whenever my confidence is low, ladies, I revert to the 7 steps to kick up your confidence. So number 1, I make a list. I make a list of everything that I love about myself. I actually created a success board, which I'll show you in a second. And anytime I'm feeling down, I just look up and I look at everything that I accomplished in the year before as a great reminder of how wonderful I am. So then that's when I pick myself up. Trying something new, it's amazing. I know we encourage our kids to do it, whether it's a new path or a new food or a new activity. Last year, I learned Turkish. This year, I'm going to be, I'm taking a business consulting course and a change strategy course. Positive self-talk. I do it with my girls every morning. We stand in the mirror and say, I am amazing. I am beautiful. I am strong. And they do it too. So it's fun. Number 4, check in with yourself. I'm reading The Everyday Hero by Robin Sharma right now. And I think it's chapter 14 or 16. And he says, if you don't check in with yourself, if you don't ask yourself, are you angry? Are you sad? Are you mad at something? Are you disappointed? Those thoughts and feelings will carry on with you every day. So I do that in the morning, and then I call my husband and I'm like, okay, we got to talk. He's like, oh crap, what did I do now? I'm like, no, we just need to talk. I just need to get things out. And then stop comparing yourself to everyone else. When we are too busy focusing on others, we're wasting time not focusing on ourselves. Number 6, accept that you're not perfect. I walk around saying it. My daughters say it. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. And it drives my husband crazy because he's a perfectionist. And then number 7, take one small action. If you could just do one little thing, right? That's not so daunting, not so crazy. I want to lose 10 pounds. So what I do is I leave my running shoes outside the bathroom door. So in the morning, after I'm done brushing my teeth, I put my running shoes on. That's one small action that gets me closer to going for a walk or a run. Simple, okay? At least I think. But here's another thing. here are 5 ways that you could start completing a task right away. Trick your brain. It is scientifically proven that if you start thinking about an activity that you want to do, start counting and count to 5. And by the time you get to 5, get up, take action, trick your brain. It's okay to make mistakes. Break things down into smaller chunks. Set realistic expectations and remove the sting. Select one thing, time yourself, ignore everything else around you, not too many breaks, and then reward yourself with something great. Now, the root of true confidence grows from our ability to be in unconditional friendship with ourselves. We need to start making promises and keeping them to ourselves. That's what confidence is all about. So if you say you're going to get up at 5 a.m., get up at 5 a.m. If you say you're going to eat healthy, and it'll make you feel amazing. Now, that's me, 8 years old. I've learned at a very young age that if I am not putting myself first, and that's what I had to do, right? I learned that if I wanted answers, I had to go out and find them for myself. And I have 2 older brothers. And in the culture that I grew up in, boys were more valued than girls. Now, everyone else paid attention to me just because of what I went through. But you know what? I just realized that I needed to plant the right seeds. I needed to realize what I was good at a very young age, and I needed to build on that. And that's when I started planting the right seeds and watching my tree grow. That's where See Yourself Grow came from. I always surrounded myself. I always sat under trees. I hug trees. I love trees. And, you know, I worked with amazing people along the way. And people know that when they work with me, they are going to see tons and tons of value. This lovely lady down here, she launched 2 businesses during the pandemic. She's my virtual assistant. Now, she's an artistic entrepreneur. So when the pandemic happened, she's like, what do I do? I'm like, you go virtual. She's like, how do I do that? I'm like, let's figure it out. Now, this past January, she lost her husband tragically to a heart attack. And 47 years old, I've known them for over 20 years. And if anything, it's rattled both of our cages this year, both personally and professionally. I've been trying to help her, you know, deal with her grief. She's obviously struggling, but I had to alter my business because, you know, I knew that she couldn't be there for me. But I thought I didn't do so good this year. And when I started doing my success board, that's when I realized, you didn't do too bad. So we really need to just build a framework and work one step at a time towards, this is my growth model. This is what I base everything off of. So it's all about implementing the right goals. The R is building out the roadmap. The O is looking at different options and opportunities. The W is weaving in the team. And I'm not saying you got to go hire a team. I'm just saying you need to surround yourself with the right people who are going to take you where you need to be. And then the T is all about tasks, targets, and timelines. And then the H is all about holding people accountable. Now, I am also going to be hosting a free webinar on the importance. Oh, no. Okay, someone's internet crashed. Or was that me? Am I good? Am I still okay? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to be hosting a free webinar on February the 2nd on celebrating your successes. So we've all built out vision boards. Most people have at least. Well, I am now in the business of building success boards. So if that's something that you're interested in, I will put the link to reserve your spot in the chat. And this is the success board that I created last year. And again, I have it here where I can look at it every day. And it's just a constant reminder of, you know, what you put where your attention goes, your energy flows. And I don't know if you guys know Joe Coy. He's a comedian. And so if you haven't, go on Netflix and type in JOKOY. And I want you to say thank you to me later. He's hilarious. My most favorite comedian out there ever. And I got to meet him in an airport in Winnipeg, of all places. Winnipeg is very small. But I got to collaborate with over 50 people last year I love doing social media showcasing. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you have a message that you want to share, I like doing Facebook Lives, Instagram Live, LinkedIn Lives, love to interview and showcase you out to my network. I did over 200 of those last year. And, you know, I also started what I called 6 weeks to see yourself grow. It's an accountability group. I have 4 spots, and it's nice because every week we meet, and every week everybody gets to be on the hot seat. So before February 9th, if you're interested, it's only $257, less than $7 a day. And you get a 60-minute strategy call with me. So we build out your plan for 2023. I do motivational messaging on Monday. And then on Tuesday we'll meet, or Thursday we'll meet. And I do a little motivational talk about the topics listed here. And then I do a follow-up on Friday. And then after we're all done, I'll do a 30-minute transformation session with you in March to make sure that you're all set and ready to go. So I'll be putting that link in the chat as well. And this is a sample of what I do with my clients. So we build out the 30, 60, 90-day plan. Right now, we're just doing the 30. And then every week, it's like, okay, what are you going to do to build this skill, or what are you going to do to achieve that goal? So it's holding each other accountable. This is just another example. And then I also do an 8-week See Your Business Grow program. If you want more one-on-one, or if you're in business and you like some strategy business talk there. And that's some of the activities that I do with my clients. So again, what's the goal? What's the activity? And then I found this very interesting. 10% probability of completing a goal if I hear about it. 25% if I consciously choose to adopt it. 40% if I decide when I'm going to do it. 50% if you plan how you're going to do it. 65% if you commit to someone else that you're going to do it. And then 95% probability that you're going to get stuff done if you make a commitment to reporting back to someone and you have a set appointment. So I'm going to encourage you all, grab your phones if you'd like to scan my QR code and get all my contact information. Carol, I see that you have a hi hello code as well. So that's awesome. Yeah, and that has all my contact information, and you can follow me on all my social media platforms. So if you want to get your phone and move it close to the screen until you see the QR code link to save, I'll just leave it there for 10 more seconds. Okay, I'm going to move on. And here's your assignment. What I'd like for you to do is make a
Oh, you're frozen, Tina.
of all the things that you would like to try. Oh no, internet. Am I back?
You're back.
Am I back? Okay. Yeah, and just circle one. Just make a commitment, make a promise to yourself that you are going to try something new. And then it all comes down to trusting yourself more. Whatever journey you are on, whatever next step you are hoping to embark on, you just need to trust yourself that you are on the right path with the right people, and you're making the right decisions to empowering your future self. So that's all, folks. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. Absolutely awesome. Wow. So this has been Whistle Stop. And I thank you, speakers, for keeping within the time frames. This has been absolutely incredible. Nuggets, food, inspiration. Yeah. And we have 20 minutes and the floor is open for questions and answers.
Well, I'm going to turn my video off because clearly my internet connection is a mess. So I'm still here.
All right, Dorina. Wonderful. Now, don't be shy. While we have the speakers here,
Actually, I have
expertise-
oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. I have a favor to ask. I don't see a way to save the chat. Can whoever is in charge save the chat and put it somewhere?
Yep.
Thank you.
Uh, duh, 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 duh.
They've moved the 3 dots. I
Yeah,
don't know if you noticed. Yeah.
they have.
They were there a few days ago.
It's right at the bottom of my screen.
It is
Right
at the bottom,
The
next
3
to the
dots.
emoji.
Click the 3 dots which says
Oh,
more.
there it is. I'm good. Actually, I lost it when my internet crashed. So if somebody
Ah.
could save it and send it to me, that
Oh
would be
yeah,
great.
but if your internet crashed, it means you would have missed the other bits of.
Right.
Yeah.
So if somebody can save the whole thing and send it to me, that would be very much appreciated.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I've got a comment. I find it very interesting that the shift is very much, there's a shift in the industry, the whole coaching industry, which is tending towards really getting into consciousness and the nature of reality and how things really work. And it's nice that people are being less 5 senses and 3 dimensions, right? Because after all, nothing is here. Everything is energy. Get down to the elementary particles. They don't exist. So there you go. So that's my comment. And I really like what everybody spoke of, because it's just, I mean, so many people need to know about this stuff. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dorina. I'd like to respond to that for a minute because I think it's so important. We are in the process. Obviously, you're familiar with energy and the fact that we are all, everything is made up of energy. We're only 0.00001% matter, right? So the work that I've done and led to do more energy because of that. But we, as a society, the planet as a whole, is actually elevating from 3D reality into 4th dimension. And so as it moves into 4th dimension, in the 3rd dimension of reality, we have this veil of forgetting of who we are. And the whole purpose of 3rd dimension is so that in the space of polarity, in the space of forgetting, we can actually remember who we are. We come back to a place of really understanding our consciousness and who we are. 4th dimension reality doesn't actually have that veil of forgetting. So to be able to move, because the planet, the door is open right now, moving the planet excuse me, into 4th dimension reality. And so it requires an up-leveling of consciousness. And that's why we're both seeing the up-leveling of consciousness as well as the polarity of the up-leveling of chaos simultaneously to hold the space for both.
Yeah, well, I come from the top down. I'm a mathematician, well, then business and all that. But even when I was a little kid, I was like 8. And I discovered these things called atoms. And I'm like, okay, it's a nucleus, there are all these electrons, and it's all empty space. Why can I not walk through this wall? Right? And only recently I figured out that it was electromagnetic resistance, blah, blah, blah. So I come from the technical perspective. And it's interesting, the merging of the unconscious to the conscious, and getting into the super subconscious, and then into the master blueprint, and then the fact that we are just everything that has been, is, and could be, having a temporary experience as this point of consciousness named whatever, your name is.
There is actually no resistance to us being able to walk through walls except our own. And like,
right,
for
exactly,
linear time does not exist in
right.
quantum physics. It does not exist.
humans are such powerful beings as a collective that we have created the construct of linear time to be something, actually, right? Where in truth, it doesn't exist. The same thing with being able to walk through walls or fly. It's only because the collective doesn't believe it exists, and the collective is so powerful that if the collective actually understood how powerful we really were to change it, we would be able to walk through walls.
Yeah, well, the collective has been brainwashed by the powers that be, that are, people have no idea where they really are. And yeah, I mean, we could go on for hours, but I want to give somebody else a chance to talk. So,
I
was
hope you
just
all
going to
followed
say,
that.
Carol, we'll have to have a separate session to talk about this wonderful stuff. It's how amazing is what's been just said in a short while. So thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Awesome. Oh, right. Any more questions? Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy. I love what you're all doing. I love what you're all doing and what you stand for in your individual businesses. There are some very practical tips that we can actually adopt if we allowed ourselves to actually think about what we want, how we want to get there. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about Alaina. Forgive me if I said your name wrong.
Alaina.
Alaina, apologies, Alaina's talk when she talked about the intergenerational and ancestral things. And I'm a great believer in that. I've never really, my intuition tells me it's true. That's yeah, so I've not looked into it, but I was just thinking about when we find ourselves in these toxic relationships, how much of that is what keeps us in there, and how important it is for us to, we've always focused on confidence weights, but thinking now about intuition and those other things and them self-limiting beliefs that possibly gets us into that. You know, I'm just thinking how I'm thinking of utilizing it in when I'm talking about recovery. And sometimes, because we can blame ourselves for being in those situations, and having that greater understanding that it's not just your being in there or staying in there is the problem, it's all these other forces that are keeping you there. So that was really interesting.
Awesome. Awesome.
I would love to speak to that as well, because I love what you said, Marcia, right? Marcia, it's so powerful, because every experience that we have, what it really is meant to do is mirror back to us because as you know, our inner reflects and creates our outer. And so every experience we have on the outer is essentially telling us what we believe in our subconscious mind, and it's giving us the ability to shift it so we could see the truth. And so we don't realize that it's what we're doing. And so we're getting caught up in the trauma of it, rather than realizing, oh my God, this is an opportunity to see that I'm not living in my truth. I'm not aligned with my truth, and to reflect back what really is true. And I think that's one of the ways that intuition really helps heal trauma, from that perspective of realizing, oh, I put myself in this circumstance to learn the truth about myself, not because I'm a horrible person, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough. And unfortunately, because we haven't been trained with that eye to understand that life is just mirroring our beliefs back to us, life isn't mirroring the truth of who we are back to us, life is mirroring our beliefs back to us, our thoughts. And once we realize that, and we have the power to change our thoughts, we get to change absolutely, completely different circumstances and create loving relationships. I cannot tell you how many of my clients, all my clients come to me for business, but how many of them, almost all of them, their relationships get significantly better. The dysfunctionality and codependency that they had in their relationships disappears because they start actually loving themselves. And when they're loving themselves, then they're no longer looking to that other person to validate who they are.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Thank you.
You're on mute, Ritu.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to add, Alaina beautifully explained, well said. And Marcia, I believe totally that once we get to this point where we understand there are links to intergenerational, trauma, intergenerational beliefs that we carry within ourselves very subconsciously, and we kind of repeat the patterns. And once we get to this understanding, that what we are doing and who we are is just not a reflection of the experiences we've had, but also a reflection of what our ancestral stuff's been. I think that is that point, when we get to that point, that is universe's gift to us to make the correct changes now, to put the problems right. We can't go back and, do the stuff, but where we are now, this is a great start. And, I believe this is an opportunity for us all to reflect on what happened in the past, which is similar to what's happening with me or for me, and how I can make it right now or put it right for the generations to come, just per se. So yes, it's absolutely wonderful.
It's fascinating. Thank you.
I work with people at a DNA level. So I'm a DNA healer. What that means is that I can tune in energetically to people's DNA and see what's going on in their DNA that is causing these patterns and help them remove it. And as Ritu so eloquently put it, it is the opportunity to clear it for generations to come, because particularly when I work with women who have younger children, we don't realize how much what our children are doing is just a reflection of what's going on inside our own subconscious minds. And when we clear it at the DNA level, we're literally clearing it for our children and our children's children, so that they don't have to experience that intergenerational trauma and limiting beliefs and baggage that has been passed down from generation to generation.
Wow. Awesome. Oh my goodness. Tina, don't forget to put your special in the chat.
Did put all the links in there. Do you want me to repost it?
Let's have a look. No, I've got it. Yeah, it's the last.
Got
it's
it?
the last thing. It's the last thing there.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. And where you can, save the chats. I will save it for those who can't access it, or those who came on late, so you can have the complete thing. But wow. So we've had Tina join us from Toronto, Alaina join us from upstate New York City, and Marcia joining us locally from Birmingham. Awesome. Yeah, really appreciate everything that you have said, and I'm so glad we actually have a recording of this that we can go back and watch and make notes, because it's difficult sometimes when you're on a live event like this to make notes and pay attention at the same time. So once it's uploaded, you'll be able to rewatch and make notes as well. So yeah, I'm just so blown away, and I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for Susie, when you get to watching this, we're so sorry that you weren't able to join us now because of ill health. And we wish you a speedy, speedy, speedy recovery and complete recovery. I know this is something that's dogged you for a while. So, yes. And I, before I hand over to Ritu, I just want to say thank you so much, because I know, Tina, you've got to disappear, and Alaina, you've got to disappear. So I want to thank everyone who has joined us this evening, given up your time to join us to hear pearls of wisdom from our speakers. And yeah, Ritu, over to you.
There's nothing more that I can say, Carol. I just want to say a big thank you to Marcia, Alaina and Tina for joining us tonight and sharing with us their incredible journeys, as well as great tips and tools for people to get starting to make the change that they deserve and they need and they want. So thank you so much. And everybody who joined us tonight, a big thank you to you guys as well for spending this valuable time with us. And Carol, a big fat thank you to you for bringing us all together, for working relentlessly, tirelessly behind the scenes. It takes a lot of time, energy and effort, I'm aware, and I'm very grateful for you to do what you're doing. So really, really grateful. Thank you so much. Ladies, stay connected. I've put the WhatsApp contact number as well as website address. We do have a Facebook page, Collura UK. So do join us, give us a like, if nothing more, and stay connected. It would be great. And we never know down the line, along the times when we may want to get together one more time. We're open for collaborations. I'm sure Carol has explained all that to you. Reach out. We do put up our one-off workshops as well. So if any one of you are speakers or any of the attendees have got some expertise and would like to share it with the community, drop us a message and we'll get that done for you as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Big thank you, everyone, and have a great night or morning or a day, wherever you are. Thank you so much. Bye for now.